So pillar number 2 here to increase the efficiency of your marketing is your offer. So one of the biggest reasons you're struggling is because you're using the same offer regardless of the stage the user's at in the sales funnel. And the one offer is just not enough. It just isn't going to grow your business to the level you want to be at. You need to match the offer to the stage the user's at in the sales funnel. And I'm going to help you show you exactly how we do it. But before we do that, I want you to think of your offer as the single most important variable that you can change in your marketing, unquestionably. If you have the level of strategy and understanding that we do, and honestly, I've just done this a million times, you'll see how doing this aligns you to what the user is looking for and how you can get them to perform the core business action that you want, which I'm calling the core conversion. And I will show you very much in depth how you come up with your core conversion. I'm going to show you how to use this strategy really in any network that you want and to get your offer in front of the right person at the right time in the right stage of the sales funnel. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't get them to take the action you want regardless of which stage that they're at. So we're going to talk about top, mid, bottom. But just offering a consult isn't enough. Just offering a sale isn't enough. It's just not going to push you up to the level that you want to be at. That's not why you're here. We need to make your marketing strategy whole, one that can work and meet users at different stages of the consideration cycle and still get the business result you care about. We need to start by focusing on your prospects and where they're at first as kind of the glue between all your marketing efforts. Now I'm going to show you how you can take this strategy and push it across everything and really distribute it and get in front of the right people with the right offer at the right stage in the sales cycle. And again, become the company that's able to acquire customers cheaper and more efficiently than your competitors. So let's talk about it. So just a supporting quote to give you more ammo what I'm talking about here. The average American sees between 4,000 to 10,000 marketing messages per day. And you probably knew something along those lines, right? So how do some of those messages break through? What is it about the message that makes some stand out and some disappear? Is it the copy? Is it the image? I would argue, and the stats would generally back me on this, that no, it's actually the offer that makes the biggest difference. And once you get your foot in the door and begin building that relationship with the client, getting them in your sales cycle, getting them to know, like, and trust you, they're much more likely to end up making that purchase from you. And this is just to remind you that you seriously need to think about your prospects first and be the company that actually meets them where they are, because if you don't, your competitors will. So let's break down the offer funnel a little bit because this is really important. So one thing that we've been able to discover through a lot of our clients through testing, the two biggest levers that we actually have in terms of business metrics are the stage that the prospect is in the sales funnel and the actual cycle. Like certain people, your prospects can be very commitment phobic. If you ask for too big a commitment, like giving up their valuable time in exchange for a consult, too high up the funnel, then you're sunk. I want to make sure that you keep this in mind because there's so much content out there. But those contents are giving you micro metrics. They're not giving you the big lever you can pull. Again, we're talking stage in the funnel and offer. So let's look at this a little bit more here. Where we look at offers, or we break this down to a traditional marketing funnel by intent. There's top funnel, mid funnel, and bottom funnel. And the reason we do this is to understand which stage the audience is in the customer journey and what type of offers based on commitment levels that we need to put in front of them to get them to convert and eventually take our core conversion offer. And this one is really important because your core conversion offer is the engine that drives the efficiency in your business. Now, I'll break down core conversion offers based on verticals, but you want to save those for bottom funnel offers unless you use our Yes Ladder funnel, which I'll show you a direct example of. So top funnel offers are low commitment level. They're like quizzes, toolkits, and they're people who have never heard of your company before. You know, maybe the networks to promote it on include Facebook, YouTube, via demographic, psychographic targeting. Mid funnel, they're courses, webinars. These are people usually on your remarketing lists, and you find them on Facebook or the Google Display Network. These offers have a higher level of commitment to where a prospect will spend time, commit their time with your brand, and bottom funnel is going to be that core offer. So for example, top of funnel, just think very low commitment, where the user is given very little information. They have to provide very little information, and they can consume the content in a very small amount of time and immediately adds a large amount of value. And how can we really add value to your customer? And what this really comes down to is really understanding your customer. So mid-funnel, we're thinking about results. So what you'll notice here is we're not talking about ad copy or keywords, right? We're talking about business level impact, because most often when your marketing is inefficient, you're not generating leads, it's because you built it off keywords or ad copy rather than offers. You took what the agency said, hey, these keywords are cheap, let's send them to the homepage. We didn't think about what the prospect cared about. And then once you understand your core customer, and what stage they're at in the funnel. It's just about solving the problems and understanding where they are and how they consume your offer. So for example, I work with a bunch of lawyers. They really prefer to read. So I might offer as a top of the funnel a white paper, whereas I work with a lot of real estate agents. They prefer to see videos. So top of the funnel will be a video offer. So this is really how I think about offers. And again, I think about these 3 stages we need to understand, and that in each one of these stages has a different intent or goal that we need to match our offer to hit the goal, the prospect, with the lowest level of commitment. Again, top funnel is about value adding, mid funnel is results. It could be case studies, it could be webinars, and the bottom funnel is the core offer. So let's just break this down with real world examples. So if it's top of the funnel, these are visitors who are having their first touch point with your brand. They don't really know who you are. And they're not really looking for what you have to offer. These are users who you can target via demographic and psychographic target, but they're not necessarily looking for your product and they don't know you. These are people who end up on your site, landing page, or even mobile app install, and they don't really know you. And so a lot of times they're not really even sure how they got there. So you can imagine this type of traffic has a very low probability of converting on your core offer, which is your main objective. So you really want your core audience, you want to figure out what entices and interests them, gets them to stop scrolling through Facebook and YouTube, a scroll stopper, and gets them to be excited, where they're willing to take a business action of a small commitment device and providing their first name and email. So some examples we have include quizzes, which are easy to fill out and are kind of like diagnostics. It's so much more engaging to say, discover how much you can save by switching to XYZ than 10 ways to save with XYZ. Very top of funnel, works very well, very engaging. Email newsletters work really on this one. You can have an email newsletter that actually provides real value. So if you use this, you really need to provide an explicit reason for them to sign up. None of this just sign up for a newsletter. Again, think about the end user. What's in it for them? So I'll show you this on an example on the next slide. And finally, toolkits are a pretty good one. You can use this tool to get XYZ, provides immediate value. The tools are, I'm not gonna say easy, somewhat simple to build these days. There's a whole bunch of ways to do it. We use Google Sheets for quite a bit of it, and it works really well. You can then use that email that you get from them for remarketing across Facebook, YouTube, and Google, and move them up the value ladder. So here's an example of the top of the funnel offer, and this is from Compass Real Estate, and exactly what I told you I was going to show you before. And you can see this is a very top of funnel offer with a very low commitment. Over here on the left side, this is essentially sign up for an email list. It's an early notification list for properties under 750,000 in San Diego, and call to action, yes, please notify me. And this did really, really, really well. Like I said, it drove 700% more conversions. So audiences know this is easy and engaging, and this is actually a really good example because it's actually a multi-step funnel, which I'm quite a big fan of. Once they fill this out, they fill out a bit more information here on what I call the bridge page. I know you guys can't all see this, but it's what are you most interested in? Home, unit, new build, tear down. And then we also realize if people are looking to buy a home, they may also be looking to sell a home. A certain percentage of them are. And that's actually how we end up getting them so many seller leads. But it all started with this very top of funnel offer. Now, if we had just said, hey, you want to talk to a real estate agent and get a consult on Facebook, it wouldn't have worked. So we do use this for their email marketing. We built remarketing audiences, their ecosystem. And as we build this more and more over time, it really just continued to add value. And this is a really good example of why you need to think about your customer journey and the stages in their funnel rather than just a consultation. So like I said, as this continued to grow and as people continue to get these properties every week, a certain percentage of them would take the agent up on that, and he ended up selling some properties on it. So now let's look at the mid-funnel offer stage match. And this is where you can ask a little bit more because they do know you in this stage. The mid-funnel still continues to include YouTube and social like Facebook, but these are people who have had a touch point with your company before. Offers can be things like courses. Now, again, we're talking about commitment level. If someone's taking a course from you, it's a bit more time than just filling out an email, right? They're going to be spending time with you. I like courses a lot. They work really, people get to know, like, and trust you. Real case studies work really well. As long as there's a story to them and they're not just like, hey, here's a straight up case study. It really showing how you accomplished it really, really drives a lot to it. And if they are videos, you can also retarget people based on the percentage of the video that they watched. And you know if they're watching the video or not. Webinars can be really good as long as you provide actual value, which I hope I'm doing here. And you can also remarket to prospects based on the percentage of the video that they watch. I also like webinars and podcasts as well, because at the end of the day, people do business with people, right? And you come across as much more of a person on webinars and podcasts instead of just writing. I've noticed a real difference between the leads I get from webinars versus people who have read what I wrote. It's not even close. They're so much friendlier. They're so much warmer when they come from a webinar. So here's the real world example. This comes from Doggy Dan, one of our, and this one's done really well, driven a ton of leads and end up being a ton of sales. And this is again for people who already knew Doggy Dan. So this isn't people who are cold audiences. You know, maybe they've read one of his articles, they've seen one of his videos. This is the next step. It gets them to see him as the real thought leader he is. It provides value and it gets people to make that connection. So this is the 3-day challenge, which we actually came up with at the beginning of COVID, because you're in your house, right? Way to transform your dog or puppy without leaving the house. And this offer built the email list and continues to build, and he continues to sell to them. We track revenue based on what's known as first touch attribution. So I can tell who's bought based on who's originally came from this funnel. We use the email as the key. If you guys ever do software, so that's our key. And I can tell way down the road if they came through this funnel, you know, if they bought. It also lets us know lead and lag time on purchases and average order value per challenge. So this is a beautiful challenge to remarket off the back of. Anyone who signed up for this is clearly interested in improving the training for dogs, right? You have to be a complete psycho to not be interested in that and then go through this training. And we track the percentage of the training videos they watched as well. And we also do different offers based on how they responded to the form. So this is actually something. So this is obviously a slide, but if you click this in real world, it pops up and asks you a couple questions about your dog. We will give you different offers based on your dog and what the challenges that they're having as well. We can set up remarketing ads. You know, if you're still having trouble training your dog, we can help you something along those lines. Everyone who takes this challenge is a potential customer. And because they've interacted and gotten value from it, they're much more likely to be a customer as well. And then the final one is bottom. So this one I want to spend a little time on. These are the core commitments, the core conversions I was talking about. So we do a lot of lead gen, obviously. So if your offer is over $1,000, your core commitment is probably going to need to be a consult. It's very unlikely that you're going to be able to sell something for over $1,000 without getting a consult. Could happen, but it's unlikely, and I would say it actually hurts your bottom line. If you're in new technology, trials work really, really well. You know, give someone a 7-day trial, 7-day, 1-day trial if you're concerned and want to see if they'll put in their credit card information, but 7-day free trials work really well. A lot of software as a service companies do it. If it's difficult to understand, demos work really, really, really well. If it's a commodity, you can just do a quote. So like I have a bunch of pavers. So one paver is essentially the same as another. You can just give a quote for that. And if it's under $1,000, you can try for purchase. Although I would say, like, generally it would be better to do a consult. I mean, they just work so well. They can be a pain, but you know, it's business. Like, you sometimes have to do stuff you don't particularly want to do. So just as an example, this comes from our client Renegade Bio. They're a COVID testing company out of Oakland. People don't need an ebook, right? If they're they're typing in COVID testing near me, let's get them to schedule a test, which is exactly what happens when they click that button. So there is one exception to this, which I discovered, I don't even remember how I discovered this, but it's the Yes Ladder Warp Speed warm-up, where you're able to actually take a bottom funnel offer and get a top funnel person to take it. And I'm going to show you exactly how we did this with a real world example. So this is that Cloud Medical client I was telling you about. So they came to me, they said consults didn't work. So we started thinking to ourselves, how do we match the stage the visitor is in with when they know nothing about DPC, direct primary care, with the offer? So instead of trying to just get them to take a consultation, we first got them to download an ebook, which is step 1. Step 2, the bridge page, we offered them the consult. Now, this is an important concept. We know for sure that on the thank you page, we have their complete attention. It's the only place that you really know you have the complete attention of someone. You might, if you're Google and on the search results page, which was actually their whole value proposition, that they know nothing, but they know the complete attention is that they have it then. But by doing this and stacking this, a certain percentage of people will take it. So if you want to use this Yes Ladder Warp Speed warm-up, what you need to do is think of a top funnel offer, which you will match with the top funnel networks. And then you can put your bottom funnel core conversion on the next page. It doesn't always work, but it does work enough that it's worth trying. And it costs you nothing to put on the thank you page, right? So I highly recommend at least trying this out. It's worked for a couple of our clients. I mean, you saw in Compass, we were even able to upsell and see like if they were a seller lead as well. So really, this is the most important thing for your business right now. It's understanding the customer journey in your offers, how to segment your audience, how to come up with offers, how to create offers, and how to distribute your offers with the stages in the customer journey. And this, if you do want to read more, I think I included in the slides all the links. This includes a lot more examples from Search Engine Journal. I wrote this article. I already found a lot.